Okay, everybody, this is Vince with Listings to Leads, and I want to thank you for getting on the call with us. This is the rollout call for the Listings to Leads real estate marketing program, and we're going to do it in two halves. Today is going to be about core marketing tools. Um, so specifically, what do you do when you have a listing? What's going to happen? How can you control it? How can you customize it? Things like that that you're always going to be wanting to do with any marketing system. Um, but the second call, which won't be today, will be also about Facebook advertising. And that's a really exciting thing going on in real estate marketing today. It usually combines things like pay-per-click advertising and landing pages, and there's a whole suite of landing pages in this system that you now have access to. So I know Susan has the IDs and passwords. She'll be sharing those with you. If she hasn't, she'll be sharing with you shortly. And then you'll be able to log in. And we also have an automated connection to your listings via our partner List Hub. Okay, so what I'd like to, I want to kind of jump in, but I want to let you know, I of course have done this a lot, and sometimes I go really quickly. So if you have questions, just put them in that chat panel for GoToMeeting, and I will take a break every now and then. There's a couple areas where we'll stop um, before we move on to a next big subject, and then we'll take those questions. But when you get that ID and password, come to Listings to Leads, and don't come over here and start a free trial, because you'll just bend everything that we got set up for you. Go up here to the login button on the top right and put in your ID and password. Okay. And I'm going to log in right now, and you'll see that there's a pop-up page right here in the center. It says Agent Desktop for you. There's some really cool stuff here that I want to point out. Here is a video tutorial from one of our clients who has been generating a lot of leads using Facebook advertising. This is Neil Wolf talking about, he also uses Facebook, but he also uses one of our lesser known tools that shows a lot of listings, has a lot of lead capture, and he does a great job. I am going to kind of show you what that tool looks like, because when he started working with us, he did not have many listings. He wasn't really like a long time seasoned realtor. But boy, he started generating hundreds of leads a week, and it's a really great way of applying our system. Down here, you'll see that there are recorded webinars, and there's also live training where we actually have live training every Monday and Tuesday. Monday is sort of the core system. We talk about all the new tools. And then on Tuesday, we talk about Facebook. So if you want to learn about any of those things, you can always get on here and join us live. This call here, I will record. I'm recording right now. And I'll put it up on YouTube, and I'll send it to Susan, and then you'll have that as a resource going forward. So right here on the main homepage when you log in, I want to invite all of you. You'll see this button that says click here to join the mastermind group. And when you click that for the first time, there's going to be a button over here that says join group. And click that, and then either myself or Scott will add you to the group. And a lot of our clients come in here and talk about what's going on in their system. They talk about what's working for them, where they're having questions. But a lot of our clients across the country come here and share a lot of tips that really help you get more out of the system. This button here is online tutorials, and we have a lot of recorded tutorials, and some are written out showing you things that you may not have a question for. Getting started, getting automated, we're going to kind of cover that today. Facebook advertising is what we're going to discuss on the second training call. There is a really awesome open house lead generation program. It's discussed here under this green button, and it's really useful if you have your own listing, or if you're holding an open house for somebody else. It's going to help you find buyer leads. There's a handful of tools that are created there. You click that and you'll learn about that. And then down here is a listing presentation. And I want to point on this page because there's a couple of cool things. One, there's a video here of how to present it. Pretty straightforward. This video here shows you how to customize the logo. And then down here, you can actually, the listing presentation, you can download the listing presentation right there. And it's really helpful because it's kind of one page on all the core tools. So when you want to present this system to a prospective seller, it's all kind of there in a large graphical format. There's not a lot of reading. You can kind of walk through it. Really simple to get through. Some people are really fancy. They put it on their iPads. Some people print it and put it on a notebook. Either way, it works, because you will see here that there are a lot of tools that get kind of covered. So let me jump into that. Let me go into the listings page and give you a sense of the kinds of things that go on. This is a listing dashboard. At the top is a calendar. There are training classes. You can sign up. I mentioned it on Monday and Tuesday. We also have some recorded ones that you can watch right there. If you need to grab an active listing and it's not in your account and you need to grab it in maybe for an open house, you can click that grab active listing button, put in the zip code and ID, MLS ID, and it'll pull in the listing in with the photos. There's a listing widget up here. I'll point it out later on. It's pretty. That's the tool that Neil Wolf uses. But this is the dashboard where listings go in. And I want to kind of point a little bit of this out, and then we'll go back a little bit backwards into the profile stuff. There's a couple things that are unique about us. We like to market listings over and over again. And you'll notice over here, there's this column. It's under the status. And I've got these red statuses. Under UD, it means under deposit. It might be active contingent for you. Just sold, right? Active, coming soon. The same home, you can just change the status and mark it again and again. And you'll start to get familiar with our tools. You'll recognize that every time you use our tools, there's always these lead generation properties in them. And that's kind of key to it. So like I said earlier, we're going to be getting your listings automatically. And every night we go out and sweep them, and then we pop them in, and then we'll automatically send you some marketing tools. Okay. But I want you to see here what tools get generated and what you can kind of do and manipulate, things like that. So first of all, there is an edit listing button. Second, there is a lead gen links button. And we're going to talk about this in detail in a little bit. Here's a place where you click this green button to do the open house. So if you want to set that open house date and time and save it, it's going to just you'll just get like a stack of tools to market. This is our single property website. Our virtual tours are under here. We are going to go click in here and go into detail, but I just want you to know at a high level right now what we have. We're going to be auto uploading virtual tours to YouTube for you. If you have a office channel for the office, we can upload there. If you have your own channel, you can connect that on your profile and we'll upload the virtual tour there as well. But we by default will put it up on our search all properties, which just means it's going to get some SEO. Some people are going to see it if they ever go looking for the property. We have a series of e-flyers and Facebook ads. These are very powerful, great for developing leads, but also referrals. You'll see when we dive into it. There's a listing landing page, really used primarily for Facebook pay-per-click advertising. You can use it for Google as well. It's a really good looking tool. I'll explain it to you. We'll get into it. If any of you are really big into blogs, then you click this post to blog button, and there's like a half dozen tools of different sizes and shapes to put on your blog so that you can market this home. And then over here is a Craigslist button, and we have a really nice little tool there to get you to Craigslist. So that's kind of all the things that happen to get the listing out, okay? Now, before I kind of dive into that, I want to make sure that you do the basics first, right? And the basics are go over here to the top left where it says profile and click profile, okay? And you know, your picture is going to be there, your name's going to be here. If you've got a team name, put the team name right here, right? And check this box, and that will be the name used in all your marketing, all right? Your company name would be here, and a lot of this stuff is already set up by our support team. Your email address is going to be here, but a couple of things I want you to be aware of is there's a couple of alternate emails. You might want to put, maybe you've got a CRM somewhere, and if you have an email address that you want to send all leads to, paste that email address and click send leads to. Maybe you've got an assistant working with you, and you want to put their email here and say send all the tools to, so that all the tools get managed and things like that. This data feed, participant ID and stuff like that, we take care of. That's the connection to List Hub to get your listings in. Make sure your phone number is right. If you have reviews on Zillow, check this box. And what that does is that will auto-populate your reviews on a number of our tools. We have a lot of tools that just display the reviews right next to your listing. And that's pretty cool. It's surrounded by lead capture. So it's one thing to have a review floating out on Zillow. It's another one to have it associated to your marketing for any of your real estate. So the rest of this down here, there's more fields. You don't necessarily need to fill them out. It's more of a question as does your MLS require it, right? Some MLSs require a license number and some require a broker name or things like that. So if you need that kind of thing, you can put it there. Down below is a section which is the templates. And we set up kind of a color scheme and template with your banner and stuff for your office. And so you don't really need to worry about that too much. But down here is a section that you do want to pay attention to. The YouTube connection, I mentioned earlier, we auto upload to YouTube. And we will do that to our Search All Properties channel. If the office has a channel, they can connect it at the office level. And if you have one, you can connect it. You can check this box right here, and that will auto upload your videos up to YouTube for us. I'm not going to do that because this is my demo account and these listings aren't real. If you happen to be using Wise Agent or Top Producer as a CRM, you can integrate them there. If you've got your own social media accounts, put your links to those accounts right here, and that will, when in certain areas, when we put those kind of, join us connection buttons on your marketing tools, they will drive to that. And then you make any changes, and that's how you set up your profile. Okay. So not too, technically difficult. You can kind of read through it and you'll get it. But you want to kind of get that stuff set up first and then kind of, forget about it. So the next important piece in terms of real estate marketing, we call lead generation links. And you'll see right here that there's a green button with a chain link, and up here it says lead gen links. And a lot of companies, I don't think there's actually another company in real estate marketing that does this. Probably because it's really kind of difficult. But also a lot of companies just like completely automate stuff so that you don't have to touch it. And that's great, but you don't get as many leads when you do that. And so for us, our clients tend to be focused on lead generation. So we really focus heavily on lead generation links, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. But before I go show you that, I want to explain what it looks like. And the easiest place to see that is to click the red button next to your listing with the white house on it. It's the single property website. And I want to point out before I click that you can notice some of these buttons have green boxes underneath them. Some of them have black boxes. Many of them have open check boxes that you can check or uncheck. And what I want you to know is green means that it has not been uploaded. It hasn't been done. Black means it's been sent out. So I don't have my videos going to YouTube because they're not real listings, right? But sometimes I send myself my flyers, and so that's why some are black. And if I haven't sent something out, it's going to be green. If you decide you want to go over here and click all these boxes, it won't really do anything except put a check in the box. It doesn't have really any technical thing. It's just it's a place to help you remember what you did and what you didn't do. So to get into that lead generation link, I want to click on the single property website. And this is going to be, a website, when we go back, when I talk about lead generation links, I'm waiting for that to come up. Lead generation links flow through all of our tools. They flow through the single property website. They flow through the virtual tours. They flow through the e-flyers. They flow through the Facebook tools that are designed to automatically go out. And they flow through the blog tools, and all of the mobile stuff, they also flow through also. And so I'm waiting for that to pop up. I can see above what you can see that's taking forever to load up. So I'm going to go over here to the lead gen links page, and we're going to talk about what that actually looks like and what that means. So we set up a couple of your core areas, but there are going to be more towns that you market in. And for instance, I might have a home for sale in Marco Island, so I want to have a link that says Marco Island Homes for Sale. And I want it to point right to my website, okay? If Marco Island has a price point of, everything under 700 grand goes off the shelves, right? Just flies out of here. You know that that's what people are looking for is 700 grand homes. So Marco Island homes under 700K. Okay. And then right here is a link pointing to your website. Now, if you check this box here and put Marco Island, what this does is this automates these links and says the next time a listing comes in from the feed in the city of Marco Island, automatically give it that link there, Marco Island under 700K, and give it this one here, which I'm going to add, Marco Island homes for sale. Search all homes is my default link. Okay, so I want that to go everywhere. And I have another link that says, what is your home worth? And that's a great link for capturing seller leads. So you check that and you want that to go out on all of them. You make those, you save those changes and those start to become available. And then you can apply them on your tools, right? So here I've got a single property website, and this kind of looks similar to most single property websites, right? It's got the home, it's got the schools, the map. You can print the brochures. It's got the bedroom square footage, everything you would expect. Okay. Your logo is gonna be here, not mine, and the status of the home is gonna be here. For sale, coming soon, just listed, open house, under contract, just sold, right? So you can market this same single property website multiple times. The thing that I recommend is every time this status changes, when it goes from just listed to open house, change the status and listings to leads and share it. And the share buttons are right here underneath your picture. Number one place to share properties is Facebook. Number two, in terms of lead generation, is Pinterest. Number three is LinkedIn. And notice that this just very simple lead capture form just pops up. Again, it's one of the things of listings to leads. There are multiple ways to capture leads. A consumer can click this, follow this home, and then that button just pops up. It did pop up automatically. They could schedule a showing, and then that's going to go to you, right? But also, remember I was talking about the lead generation links. This home here is in Maple Grove, so I might have links that say Maple Grove homes for sale, Maple Grove homes under 500K. Search all homes, and what is your home worth? So if I click on Maple Grove homes, and remember this is my demo account, so it's just pointing to a page that's showing Maple Grove homes. And that's really the key. If somebody's going to click on that, you'd really like to point them to a place that has those kinds of homes. And ideally, when that consumer gets on your website, they click around 3 or 4 times, look at some properties, they're going to get asked to register, and that's another way to get a buyer lead. That's really the number one way that we like to see it happen. So like I said, lead generation links are in the single property website. We'll go back there. They are in the virtual tour. They are in the e-flyers. They are in the Facebook ads. They are in the blog tools, and they are in the mobile websites for all of your tools. Okay. So lead gen links are really important because everything you do, they are there. I'm also going to go over here and go up to the blog. This is totally off topic, but there's an email/blog tab here, and there is a signature bar right here. Notice my lead generation links for Lafayette, search all homes, what is your home worth, get a free home value. These are all active links in my signature bar. It will have your office banner, your picture, your phone number, and that's really, the gist of it. Now you got a signature bar that has lead generation links. And again, it's just to kind of hammer the point that, we've been doing this for 7 years. My partner Scott was a realtor, and we kind of know what realtors do. We know what they're thinking of. And if they're thinking of it, it's in this platform. But if they're going to take the time to do an activity, to take an action, we want to make sure that action can generate some leads. And so take the time to learn these tools, and I think you'll understand how it could be so powerful. So I'm going to open up an email here, and this email I'm going to send to Susan after the call. And it's not that interesting to look at, but it's actually very, very useful. So I want to talk through it and then explain to you how the platform works around this email. One, and I think Susan shared this video, it's a high level video on top of everything that we do. My partner Scott goes through it. He goes really fast, but it covers a lot and much more than I'm going to be able to cover. So you want to watch that. This call here is an overall getting started. Right? This is what you got to do to kind of start using this stuff. And it's actually what we're talking about right now. And then down here, this is how you use Facebook to build your brand, to generate leads, get buyers, get seller leads, and it's all there. Everything you need to know is right there, okay? So this is a really great email. I'm going to send this to you, but I want to talk about this little section right here that says for your new listings. Because what are you going to do when your listings come in? What are you going to do, right? The first thing I say is choose the right lead gen links to your website. Second, share your single property website to Facebook, Google, blah, blah, blah. Share buttons are under the pick. I should kind of talk to you about that. Put your branded virtual tour on Zillow and Trulia. I'm going to get rid of these things. And get your auto-generated e-flyer and Facebook ads to your client and call them and make sure they forward and post the tools. So this really is it. This is what you got to do. I'm also going to add one more. Post your listings on Craigslist. Some of you know about that. Some of you don't know about that. Some of you absolutely hate it. I will tell you this. Craigslist was a hotbed of lead generation for many years in real estate. And I think you would probably know this if you've been in real estate in Florida, because Florida seemed to hammer it the most. And about 3 years ago, Craigslist totally turned their website upside down and just made it inhospitable to realtors. You used to be able to put hyperlinks in there and people click them and they go to your website, and that was super awesome. That's no longer possible. And because of that massive change, I'd say about 95% of realtors walked away from Craigslist, okay? Meaning all your competition walked away from Craigslist. It is still the number 14th most trafficked website in the country. And a lot of people go to Craigslist and they see these ads. And while they made it harder for you, the agent, to get the ad on there, they also made it harder for the consumer to get to you. So what our clients see is I get fewer leads, but I get a higher conversion on those leads. So take the time. I will show you about that. But this is going to be the kind of, you're going to have this, and this is going to be your cheat sheet. And I want you to understand what it is. So let's kind of repeat it. Choose the right lead generation links, okay? So what does that mean? Well, remember I showed you can create your links up here under the lead links page. And then down here at every listing, there is a button for lead gen links, right? So if you click that green button, this shows you what you have available. And you can say, oh, you know what? I want this Plymouth link. Choose your links. I recommend no more than 5, okay? And I'm going to save. And now you see I've got all kinds of links here, but save them. You can move the order on them if you want, and save and close. At that point, those links that you just saved flow through all these tools that I keep talking about, right? So that's a really key, part of listings to leads. Again, the single property website, I've got it open over here. If it's in a town like Maple Grove or it's in a town like Orlando, you want to have Orlando homes for sale. If the price point in Orlando is, 300 grand, Orlando homes under 300K. If there's a super awesome neighborhood in Orlando, or if there's a neighborhood where you really like to build your business, have that be a link as well. If there are certain areas in every town where people really like to buy homes, that should be one of your links here. So to control that, you click that green button, right? So that's the first thing on there. Choose the right lead gen links to your website. Share your single property website to Facebook. I mentioned that before, but just to repeat, underneath your picture and phone number are the share buttons. Click Facebook, for instance. Okay. Facebook is the #1 website for lead generation in real estate in the social media space. Okay. And so while we wait for this to open, I want to kind of point something out here. There's a little spot here that says, say something about this site. Please say something interesting, right? Realtors all across the country have learned how to copy and paste links, okay? They just have, and we see them all day long because I'm friends with, hundreds of people. And they just slap a link up here and they don't say anything about it. But these things are called social media because they're social. They're like conversational. So put something interesting, put something conversational in that message. If you're putting it on Facebook, if you're going to put it on LinkedIn, if you're going to put it on Pinterest, put something that's going to at least hold my attention. And because you're the one selling the home, that there is something really cool about this home. right? Maybe it's the kitchen, maybe it's the neighborhood, maybe it's new whatever, right? And then just go ahead and click and post, right? And that pushes it right to Facebook, okay? Um, I will tell you, Twitter and Google, we have not heard a lot about lead generation there. A lot of people talk about it, but I haven't seen a whole lot about it. It is because it takes that, click LinkedIn here, it takes you about a half a second for LinkedIn to open up, or half a minute. And it's not a lot of work for you. So my recommendation is to post to these things, because every once in a while you're going to get a lead. And actually, some of our clients get leads off of LinkedIn, which nobody ever thought of. But listing leads, just full on people saying, hey, I saw you, I noticed you're a realtor, I need to sell a house. The real thing is, for a listing presentation, for you to be able to speak to all of these social media platforms and say that I can effectively market there, there's really isn't any realtor that knows how to do that. And you know how you do it? You just click this little button here and you write something friendly and conversational. And that's really about it. So it's not really that difficult, but in our system, we've just made it very, very simple to do, okay? So that's a single property website. Get the right lead generation links, share that to all the social media sites, okay? The next one in my email says put your branded virtual tour on Zillow and Trulia. Why? Because your listings get seen on Zillow and Trulia all the time. And you know better than I what happens in reaction to those listings, right? I don't know if you're getting leads all over the place from Zillow and Trulia, or if some other agent is getting leads all over the place because of your listings on Zillow and Trulia. But what I do know that is people like virtual tours, okay? It's the number 3 most popular marketing tool in real estate. So NAR will tell you that, Realtor.com, all that nonsense. So we create it automatically. You don't have to do anything. We get the listings in. We will send the single property website and the virtual tour to you in your mailbox as soon as the listing hits the system, okay? So just open it up in your email and share the single property website like I showed you. Now, for some reason, the virtual tour, everything seems to be moving slowly here, so we'll have to give it a second. But there's a branded virtual tour and there's a non-branded virtual tour. And what we want you to do is put the branded one, and let me be clear on this, put the branded one on your listings on Zillow and Trulia directly, okay? If your MLS allows a branded virtual tour, then you can take the branded virtual tour and put it there. Susan, do you know the answer to that? Does your MLS, or if anybody's sitting there in that room with you knows, does your MLS allow a branded virtual tour? Notice there's unbranded here. Go ahead, Susan.
No, it will not allow a branded tour. It has to be unbranded to go on the MLS.
Has to be unbranded. That, and a lot of MLSs are like that. So you got to kind of follow these points here. Thank you, Susan. Zillow and Trulia, these are directions. Just a quick 2-minute video shows you how to log in, go and edit. And basically what it's going to tell you is get it to edit, find the virtual tour space, click this branded virtual tour. And I got a really weird internet connection here, so everything's running a little bit slow today. There will be a link to your virtual tour right here, and there's going to be a copy button right here to the right. And you just copy it, you go over to your listing on Zillow, you go to your listing on Trulia, and you paste it there, and it'll be live in like 15 minutes. The nice thing about that virtual tour is, just like the single property website, it's got all these lead generation links. So if your home is seen over there on Zillow or Trulia, and they click on this, well, now when they click on this, 20% of people that land on one of our tools click one of those lead generation links. I've got offices that 50% of the people that look at their tools click a lead gen link and get to their website. 50%. And I'll just point out how they do that, okay? They do it this way. Here, this home is for sale in Maple Grove. So we got to make the assumption that they're interested in Maple Grove, so Maple Grove homes for sale. They also put Maple Grove homes from 4 to 500 or 4 to 600, and then another link that says Maple Grove homes from 2 to 400. They put price brackets in there because that's how consumers think. If I'm looking and this home is 400K, it's 389, I'm probably in that space, so that better be a link that's like showing there. That office had 10 offices they had a 50% click-through rate. And I've been in advertising in different industries. I've never heard of that in my life. But that is what happens when you take a few minutes and put the right links in there. So you can get to that branded virtual tour here. Let's see if that opens. Of course not. Like I said, there should be a hyperlink here. And then you just copy and you put it in Zillow and Trulia. Okay. So you'll see that there's a YouTube button over here. We do auto upload to YouTube. And if it doesn't automatically go up and you're kind of wondering, you can just click that YouTube button and there will be a button under that that says generate video and upload it to YouTube. So that's like the way to get out there. Let's see here. I'm going to stop that and go back to the listings page, and hopefully this thing moves for me. So the next thing that my message says is get your auto-generated e-flyer and Facebook ads to your client and call them to make sure that you forward it. And so this is really like the big area where things really get different for listings to leads. And for some reason, and I'm hoping I've got some sort of internet connection, this thing is moving painfully slow. So when I start talking about e-flyers, and we've been talking about these for years, realtors just have no interest to hear this story. But you got to pay attention to this. You got to listen for a few minutes, because it's basically an e-flyer and Facebook campaign for every listing, and it's designed to not only capture leads, but also to get referrals, right? Because online lead generation is very cool. We're excited by it. Our clients are growing their business from it. But referrals are just a much better, way to build your business. So I think that when you typically build referrals, what you do is you close a transaction, right? You help somebody buy a home, you help somebody sell a home. And then what do? You leave some flowers or some knives and a stack of business cards, right? And you say, hey, if anybody ever needs help, please don't forget me, right? So that's cool, right? But we want to do it totally differently. We want to leverage our listings, and we want to get your name in front of those clients' sphere of influence, their friends, their families, their colleagues. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we send a tool to you. It's called the seller engagement email, okay? So when your listing hits the system, you're gonna get this tool. And on top of this tool is going to be a link to the virtual tour. What do you do with the virtual tour? You put it on Zillow and Trulia. There's going to be a link to your single property website. What do you do with that? Oh, you open it and you click the share buttons and you write something friendly and you put it on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that stuff. But this is going to have your banner. That's my banner there. It's going to have the first few images on the home, and it's going to say your home is being marketed. And then just starts going on and just saying, we're ready for mobile, we're ready for email, for the web, for Facebook. We've got WordPress going, we're good for Google, Craigslist, and here's my picture, and here's my phone number, and here's my logo over here. This is a bit of it's not like reading a novel, but it is a bit lengthy. And we did it that way specifically so that people start to get impressed with all the stuff you're gonna do, okay? And that's really key, because the thing that's going to happen is you're going to send that to that client on the first day. And then over here, we got a just listed flyer. Now this has been active for a while, so my just listed flyer isn't there. But let's click on the virtual tour flyer and we'll get the gist of what our thing is. And so remember I was saying, like, realtors, they usually kind of go to sleep at this point. But you got to understand there are a couple of things here about our tools that make an e-flyer really powerful. One, those lead generation links I keep talking about, they operate in the e-flyer. Two, there's a pre-written message that says, we have hired Vincent Meza at L2L Realty, and he has created this to increase the marketing exposure. We'd appreciate it if you could forward this to as many people as possible to help us get our home sold faster. So we're really automatically writing this to become a viral email. It's going to get sent to you. You forward it to your client, and you call your client for just 5 seconds and say, hey, I just sent you an e-flyer and a Facebook ad. If you could forward off that flyer And if you could put that on your Facebook wall, I'm doing things on Facebook, I'm doing things over here, I've got it on the MLS, I'm doing a million things. But just the more eyeballs, better. We want to get the best price and sell it as quickly as possible. Notice that I've got a just listed e-flyer. 2 weeks later, single property website, virtual tour. Whenever you put the open house, there's an open house flyer. If you want to change the status to make it pending or under contract, you get that as well. And if you drop the price reduced flyer is great, right? And of course, just sold. So these are the flyers. There are print flyers down here. There's a traffic report down here, which shows the traffic that happens inside of our platform. It doesn't show you what goes on, like in Zillow and Realtor.com, but all the areas that we touch, it will show. But that's the e-flyer. And so those flyers go out to you automatically. And at the same time that the flyer goes out, a Facebook ad goes out. Okay. And a lot of agents, like I said, they think this is just kind of totally strange, but they totally love it at this point when it gets to be a just sold ad. And I'm going to show you why. When it's just sold, you get an email that looks like this, and you can read it and you can edit it and you can do whatever. But here is the gist of that. You want your client to open that email and copy what is between these red lines and go to Facebook. Okay? And when they go to Facebook, they're going to right click. Oh God, what the heck is that? Sorry, people. I follow too many weird things. So when your client puts this on Facebook, there is going to be a pre-written testimonial with your name, your office, your phone number, and your email saying did a great job, right? Just sold. What happens when they click that? It's a single property website behind it. And that single property website has all the lead generation stuff that we're looking for, that we keep talking about. The lead generation links, the photos, and all that. So we'll wait for that to kind of come up. But those things happen in parallel. Facebook ads and e-flyers, right? So while we wait for that, it looks like it's taken a second to pop up. Sorry, that's my bad internet connection. That's kind of the core stuff. The other thing that goes on, and that I mentioned, the last thing in my email, is post your stuff to Craigslist, okay? So before I kind of go into that part, I want to remind you that right here it says call your clients to make sure to post, okay? And here's why, because I know, a lot of realtors understand that Facebook is very powerful, and a lot of realtors just don't even want to be on Facebook. But let me explain to you who is on Facebook. 71% of American adults are on Facebook for, I think, a minimum of 40 minutes a day, like 40 to 50 minutes every day. They're in there 5 or 10 times a day, either on their phone or on their desktops, when they're at work, when they're at home, who knows? But that's a lot of time. I don't know where people are. I think that's like the #1 place on the web where people actually spend a lot of time is Facebook. So you gotta really have a solid strategy there, right? And a copy and paste from your client. This time here it says Vincent Meza, right? That's me. For you, it's gonna be your client talking about you. If your client is on Facebook, they've probably got 100, 200, 300 friends that are family. They work with them. They know them. They're friends, right? And they're here talking about you from just listed to open house. Vince is holding our open house. Vince just sold our home. This is where marketing becomes way different. This is very different from leaving a stack of cards behind. Because in this case, throughout the process of that sale, which could be 2 weeks or 2 months or longer, people are seeing your name over and over and over. And when they click on that link, it's all lead capture there for you, right? Multiple ways for you to capture leads. So definitely use that. As I say in the email, call that client, because everybody gets a ton of spam in this world today. Just say, I just sent you a couple tools. If you could forward that email, if you could put that on Facebook, that would be awesome. You, the realtor, have other things to do with Facebook, and those other things are covered right down here in this email. We're not going to dive into that today. What we are going to do is finish this piece here on Craigslist, and then I'm going to show you some other cool stuff, okay? So, as I did say, Craigslist is powerful. The competition walked away, and we definitely recommend that you get there. So this is how you do it. You click this Craigslist button and watch this video. I'm going to show it to you, but I want you to see it anyway. Okay. I mean, I'm going to show you the process, but you should watch this video because you won't remember what I'm saying. It's a quick, 2-minute video there. But what it tells you is take this L2L posting app, and I don't know if you can see it, but my mouse turns from a pointer to a cross, and click on it and drag it. And you can see that I can actually drag that app up into my toolbar. Now, please note, I have a bunch of bookmarks here in my toolbar. You need to have that bookmark bar open. Don't drop that thing up here in this address bar. It's got to be a bookmark bar. And when you do that, there will be an L2L posting app. And when you click that, it opens up this app, and right here is every one of your listings. So now all you got to do is you go over to Craigslist and you say, hey, I want to post an ad. Post an ad, real estate for sale by broker, and then it says, okay, what's the title, what's the price, location, all that. You just copy and paste from here to there. That's really all it is. Okay, it saves you a little bit of time, but it works. So that's like the core stuff. Are there any questions for anybody? Because from here, I'm going to show you a couple of cool little side tools that people absolutely love, and point out where you can get answers when you need them. But I kind of went over a lot here. Are there any questions at the moment? All right. So over here on the top left is something called combined open house email. Pretty cool. You may not have a lot of open houses. I don't have any open houses, so there's nothing here, but it's basically a website with all your open houses. Susan, if your office holds open houses, all of the list that you could log in at the office level and have one page with all of them on one page, right? I'll show you kind of what that looks like in a second. For an agent, if they had 2 or 3 open houses, well, all of them would be on one page. So to get an idea of what that looks like, this site here, the listing website, is actually the one that will show us what it looks like. And I want to point out this one here. Remember I said we have a website that shows reviews. That's the client review website, shows you Zillow reviews. This one here shows me all the listings that I have in my account. And it has some nice lead generation for seller leads here. It's got links over to my website to capture leads over here. It's got my picture, way to get to my social media. But every one of my listings, every one that a consumer clicks on, pops open a single property website. And that single property website has all my lead gen going on, right? So this one page has all of my stuff. Okay, the office level, there's a link just like this with all your listings. As I mentioned, the open house one, it will show only your open houses here. So this is kind of a cool tool. A lot of people like this. And I want to point out, if you remember at the beginning of the call, there was that pop-up page. And that pop-up page said, hey, watch this video by Neil Wolf. And I was telling you that Neil Wolf is kind of this guy that did a webinar with us, and he's really killing it on Craigslist, right? I don't know if you remember that. But let me show you what Neil does, because it's really impressive to me. This is Neil's listing website. This is live page right now. When Neil started working with us and I set up this office about 3 years ago, he was a very new agent. He's not one of these guys that has a ton of, he doesn't have a big referral network wrapped around him and all that stuff. He just didn't, right? Didn't have a lot of listings, none of that. So he started in the rental side. He was looking for buyers, and he put together this page, okay? He started borrowing listings from other offices. Some are rentals, some were for sale. And then he built his lead generation links, right? And he found that he had a lease purchase option. So there on the side is a lease purchase option. Now, this may not be the direction you want to go, right? I mean, I don't know if lease purchase works for you. You probably have a bigger business in another part of real estate. But the point is that you can create anything you want as lead generation links, right? Get pre-approved, homes for rent, selling yourself for FSBOs, right? And it's taking a while for this to open up, but you would see that it's a lead capture form. And that lead capture form is inside of our system. He's using our tools, and so that's really interesting because he actually has a market leader site. Market leader sites are really great to drop consumers on to get buyer leads, but this page works so much better that everybody he drives to this site. Everybody he ever meets, he drives to this site. So I want to show you how he drives them to this site on Craigslist. He will go to, let's go to Craigslist real quick. Craigslist.com. Fort Myers. So he puts them in apartment and housing for sale. And if you do this yourself, just type in the word Wolfpack, and you will see all of Neil's ads. And he doesn't put much into them. Many times it's just it's just very little information. Maybe not even a picture, and that's kind of a thing that we see over and over. But what he usually puts down there, and I haven't seen it as I've clicked through here, is he puts a hyperlink that says Neil Knows Naples. Okay, now I'll find it for you because he does a lot of ads. Oh, this is his landing page that I was telling you about. He created this in Listings to Leads, put his own little video in here about lease option plan. Built this whole page in Listings to Leads and just snaps it in on his lead gen. Where were we? I'm trying to find Neil Knows Naples. Let's see here. Let me just see if I can go Neil Knows Naples. Yeah. So if I type this, you see how he's got just a basic ad and it says Neil Knows Naples. Now in the old days, you could actually click on that. But what he did is he bought this at Craigslist, or not at Craigslist, at GoDaddy. And he points it. I'm going to right click and say go to this page. He points that traffic to this page I was showing you. Because it's very simple. It's just Neil Knows Naples, right? I can remember that long enough to type it. And that's the key. He gets 40 leads a week from Craigslist from what I just showed you. So there are a lot of tools in here. There are multiple ways of capturing leads. The nice thing, I think the fun thing for Scott and I is we build these things. We get a lot of input. We get input on our mastermind group. And then our clients take it and do totally different things that we're not even thinking of. And they generate leads with it. So I think there's a ton inside the system to help you do that. A lot of great ways. They're mobile optimized and they're automated, and the listing comes in automatically. So you're going to get these tools in your mailbox. Take advantage of them, right? Use them, get comfortable with them. Start using it with other people's listings if you want, and get some exposure and get some leads. So that's really the story on the core stuff. Susan, are there any questions? Is there anything I kind of missed or something that you were thinking of that I didn't touch on?
I just see that it has a lot of functionality that we'll just have to get in there and play with and try, because it does even more than what I knew that it does. I see it also has a QR code in there that you can place lots of places that I assume drives back to your site as well.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just see a ton of functionality that's just going to take, in my opinion, some time to go in and play with and see how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. There's, what we've been doing here, and Susan, you may not know this, but we started as a one-tool company. It was Craigslist. Back when Craigslist was like, the hottest thing in real estate. We were the #1 tool for like one-click posting to Craigslist and getting the most amount of leads for our clients. And that's how we got pulled into ListHub. ListHub is a national syndication company. They wanted us because our tool is so great. And so great, that's what we did. We took that kind of technology, those hyperlinks, and we have put it across our whole platform. So if a realtor is thinking about doing something, we just focus on making sure it's going to give you an ROI in terms of lead gen. So yeah, there are a lot of things that this thing does. I haven't even jumped into it, but up here on the top, if somebody in your office invests in what do you call it? In video, you can embed your video in the system and have it automatically flow into all your tools. You might have a nice testimonial on YouTube. You just go right over here, click create tab content, paste in the YouTube link, boom, there you go. It just flows through the whole system. As I mentioned earlier, there's an email signature and blog tools there. Landing pages we didn't get into, but I'll tell you, you're going to find this pretty exciting. Landing pages are really powerful in terms of lead generation, and specifically with Facebook advertising. So while I wait for that to sort of bake, I'll kind of jump into one more thing. Contact support. We've got 3 support people that watch this throughout the week, and then Scott and I keep an eye on it on the weekends. If you've got simple questions, put it right here, all right? And right here in the center, click send. This is where everybody watches. So that's really kind of key there. There's also tutorials and FAQ right here that you can search on. And yeah, you're right, Susan. There's a ton of stuff going on. But take your time, get used to it. I think the more you learn, the better you use it, the more leads you're going to get.
And it's big marketing as well for the agents that don't have listings to use those landing pages, because we have some new agents or agents that don't have any listings.
Yep.
That those landing pages would be great in getting leads that they post to their site or to a Facebook page.
Yeah, this for instance is a seller lead capture form, right? And this is probably the #1 tool that people are coming to us for right now. Not entirely, but a lot of people are coming because realtors are learning that I can put this. Mine says Lafayette. Yours is going to say Orlando, right, or whatever town you're working on. And you can put this on Facebook and say, I want everybody in Orlando to see this. Doesn't mean that they're friends with me or like my page. They're going to see this. And I want them to be over 25 years old and stuff like that, right? And when those people fill out this form, I'll just see if I can fill it out real quick. They get an instant valuation. And you, the realtor, get a lead, okay? And that's really the key. It's somebody saying, hey, this is my home and I want to find out what my home is worth. That's really just an awesome thing to have happen. You have unlimited landing pages. So if you've got 4 or 5 different towns you're trying to build your business in, go at it. Inside the email that I mentioned to you, which is here, how to maximize Facebook for those new agents, they by all means got to look at this. And this is in the email, Susan, that I'm going to be sending to you in a bit. Okay? So I don't see any other questions. So I think what we should do is I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to upload this up to YouTube, and I'm going to send this link with that email, so you'll have this all in one space. All right?
Okay.
One in one email. And so I'll get that to you today. Does that sound good?
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody. We do have another call scheduled for Facebook, and we're going to really, when you get off of that call, I think you're really going to understand what is going on with Facebook advertising. But thanks, everybody, for your time, and I'll be in touch.